So for this section, we are going to need to move some of these large rocks. We will cover the whole space to kill the ground cover. We'll need to take out the piece of rebar. We'll address the stump, and overall, this soil will need a decent level of amendment. Back in the left corner of the yard, we have a pretty well-established maple tree that will need some serious kind of limbing up. The branches are just coming way down, and we'll want to get it out of the way to give more sun exposure, that part of the garden. We have a lot of rock on the ground, and that's going to be the main part of the project of clearing the land. So we're just going to have to basically take this rock by the bucket, or hopefully the wheelbarrow full, and we'll bring it somewhere else and we might reuse it. We've also got a pretty sizable stump there. Jury's still out if we're going to be able to grind that, as well as that stump over there. We'll need to take out the bigger rocks as well. We've got 3 lattices on the back fence that we will be trying to use to grow potentially raspberries, or there's some other climbing fruit. These stumps were 2 corkscrew willows that just left a bunch of sticks. And so we've got all these tiny sticks and that big pile of sticks, and we'll probably shred those up and use those in some way, maybe for part of the chicken bedding or in the composting system. We've also got some other ground cover right here, and other sort of weeds scattered throughout. So once we get everything cleared out, we'll take the rock out, we'll take the plastic that's underneath, and then we will have to probably cover parts of it with a fresh tarp where the weeds are getting through, so that we can fully kill those. For the new tarp that'll go in, that will be a temporary tarp. We'll basically use it so that the sun can heat up the soil, signal to the weed seeds to germinate, and they'll sprout up looking for sun. When they don't find it, they'll expend all their energy and die. And then we'll remove the tarp, and we'll be able to plant fresh into the soil. So this tree, you can kind of see it's twisted, and it looks like the branches are all growing that way. And we're guessing because there was this giant corkscrew willow that was coming up and blocking the sun. We don't really like it in the garden. And so we're most likely going to remove it unless our client really wants. Here we have an apple tree that our client has already planted, and it looks like it's doing fairly well. So we will experiment with kind of planting some companion plants, other perennials around it, maybe perhaps a nitrogen fixer, dynamic accumulator, to create a bit of a guild. And we'll have a future video explaining all of that for all of our perennials and our keystone plants. And then in this final section of the garden, we have some ornamental grasses, another maple tree, and then some more rocks. And we'll basically be taking out the rocks. I believe we'll be taking out the ornamental grasses as well. Our client said that they don't like that. We'll be pruning back the maple tree, as well as addressing this bush over here. Beyond that, this way, there's a bit of a vegetable patch, and we'll be either using cardboard or tarping. With the tarp, we have to put it on, wait for the soil to heat up, and then remove it. With cardboard, we can just lay the cardboard down and then put compost on top of it, plant directly into the compost, or cut holes in the cardboard, and it'll kind of act as the same sort of weed barrier to stop the weeds from growing. And back here, we are considering putting a chicken coop and run in to help us process our compost, as well as give eggs to our client. And so we're thinking along this fence, potentially we'll also have our 3-bay compost system back here as well.